Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga LJ. My name is LJ. I'm a yoga teacher and a registered nurse, and today I will talk to you about Surya Namaskara A. In Sanskrit, Surya means sun. Namaskar is the hand gesture we use to show respect to people. In this case, we're showing respect to the sun. We're greeting the sun. So in English, Sun Salutation A. In India and in many cultures, the sun is worshipped as the giver of life. This sequence dates back to more than 2,500 years ago. And generally, it is known as a warm-up exercise and a great cardiovascular exercise. But in a deeper sense, practicing Surya Namaskara A has a cyclical pattern that we repeat several times. And this helps bring us into a rhythm, aligns the breath as we quiet the mind and move into a meditative state. And then we move on to the following postures in the sequence. So we usually practice this 5 times. If it's cold, teachers will say to do more. If it's hot, you would do less. Personally, I always do at least 5, if not more, because I appreciate how it helps me drop in and be aware of the state of being where I'm at on that day. Honoring nature is not something I experienced until I completed my yoga training in northern India, in Rishikesh, a city embedded in the mountains by the Ganga River. I was there for 6 weeks, coexisting with the community who honors nature, patterns, and cycles. For example, every single day, a lot of people would all go to the edge of the Ganga River, Mother Ganga, to chant in Sanskrit, to honoring and showing gratitude for the life that she gives to people all the time, nonstop. And I didn't realize the impact that experience had on me until I came back to Canada. I came back to work. I was a nurse in a clinic and teaching yoga in a studio. And one of the first impressions I had experientially was, whoa, I felt fragmented. And I felt like there's not a whole lot of feeling in the actions I'm doing here. And I felt we were robotic. It only took a couple of weeks before I forgot that feeling experientially. But mentally, I remember the difference of what it's like to live in a culture that values patterns and cycles and honors nature versus a culture that has other priorities and just function differently. So I will start by demonstrating what the sequence looks like, and then I'll show a couple modifications for beginners or if you have a shoulder injury, especially in Chaturanga. So we'd be starting in Samastitihi, and we inhale Urdhva Hastasana, exhale Uttanasana, inhale Ardha Uttanasana, exhale to Chaturanga. And then we inhale Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. And then we would stay here for 5 breaths typically. And after finishing the last exhale, we would inhale forward to Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Exhale Uttanasana. And then we would inhale all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale back to Samastitihi. And from here, we would start over 4 more times. If you are starting off and you're learning Ashtanga, or you just prefer to do a easier modification, I will demonstrate the beginner version on how to do this sun salutation. So you can start with your feet hip width. Inhale, arms wide up. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees, dropping the head down. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, hands down. You could step or jump back to a high plank. From here, you would drop your knees and go all the way to the floor, exhaling. And then inhale to a cobra. And then you would exhale, knees down, pushing to a downward dog for 5 breaths. After the last exhale in downward dog, you can step or jump to the top. Inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. And then you would inhale, arms all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana, with the arm shoulder width, and then exhale to Samastitihi. So that's a great version to do if you're starting off, or if you have any injuries and you want to be cautious in the practice. It's a great way to start. Another version is to jump back to a high plank and drop down to the knees for Chaturanga. So after you finish Ardha Uttanasana, when you finish the inhale, you can exhale, jump back to a high plank instead of going directly in Chaturanga. Because when you go directly in Chaturanga, it puts a lot of pressure on your shoulders. So going to high plank first, and then if you're comfortable with Chaturanga from here, you can bring your chest forward and then go to Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Another option is to step or jump back to a high plank, and then you drop your knees to the ground. And then from here, you can go to Chaturanga, and then inhale to Urdhva Mukha. Exhale to Adho Mukha. 5 breaths. So those are the different variations. I hope that you find your experience with Surya Namaskara A and the value of having that cyclical pattern honoring the sun in our practice. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Bye, everyone.